Hello, this is Jenna Lynn Roberts with Present Path Tarot, and today we're looking at the Fantastic Menagerie Cold Stamp print, second edition of the Fantastic Menagerie. This is a deck that I wanted for a long time, and they just reprinted it. It's currently sold out, but they plan to do another print, a second print of the second edition sometime in February. So this just arrived in the mail. There was no plastic wrapped around it, just the bag it was in. And if you're waiting for yours, the company is having some challenges with COVID. Beautiful blue. This box is a very nice quality. The stock of the cards is thin. It's 330-gram German card stock. Comes with a nice little paper book. And each of the cards has that flare on it that's so cool with the gold stamp. So, sorry, not gold stamp, cold stamp, which is funny because it's gold, but it's called cold stamp. So, lovely deck, very kind of a thin, nice material. Even though it's thin, it's not too, floppy. So, nice quality. This company is from Ireland and Czechoslovakia. It's based out of Ireland, and they do some of the work in Czechoslovakia, and the cardstock itself is German. It's based on the Metamorphosis Du Jour of JJ Grandville, who was the first... or was an artist who did the first print of Alice in Wonderland. He designed the illustrations for. So you might be familiar with this type of artwork. And I wanted this deck since I first saw it. I love that it's actual images from this original artist from a book in 1847. So very cool. And it's a very playful animal deck. But I like that he also has a certain darkness to it sometimes. Great chariot. This chariot's one of my favorites. I'm so excited to read with this deck because it really does have such light. That hermit. Lightheartedness to some of the heavier cards because of the childishness of it. This is one of the more expensive decks I've purchased. It was about $80 total. I know some people spend a lot more than that, but now it's up to about $100, so it was already worth purchasing it when I did. And probably a good idea to look in February to see if they're ready with their second printing yet. Beautiful. Just trying to give you a glean of that cold press print shine. There's a lot of thought that was put into many of these cards where they took an actual image that wasn't meant for the tarot and then translated it into a relevant meaning for each card. I love the Ace of Wands as a father with a new baby. That's great. I love the Three of Wands. I think that's a great just interpretation of the planning. I think the animals make a lot of scenery that might be more intense if it was humans. It just makes it a little more playful and lighthearted. And also, as with other animal decks, you can then interpret if you have a relationship to the nine, then, to the, to the Nine of Wands and to rats, then you can associate that, or this almost a parable of this cow and this horse reminds me of the grasshopper and the ant, kind of. So this can bring in this can bring in childhood parables. If you're into unicorns like I am, you can take your Knight of Wands that way. The cards are very smooth. And even though they're thin, they do have a nice, I don't know, tensile? Is that the word? They don't feel very bendable. They have some sort of carbon insert in the center of the cards that makes them less bendable. You really, on that one, you can really see the colors underneath the gold foil. I don't know, it's not gold foil, whatever cold stamping is. Yeah, so if you have an association in your mind with certain animals, that could play into it, with fairy tales. But it's not such direct fairy tales that you're like, oh, I know this story already. It's more that you have to kind of create the story from a fairy tale mind. And if you're an Alice in Wonderland fan, I mean, this has that familiarity to it with being unique images we haven't seen before. Outside this deck, really, because I don't think that 1847 book has been reprinted as much as this deck has now. So JJ Grandville, probably his name because he's French. So that's a little more simple of a card, Six of Swords, leaving something, but most of the cards have really decadent, like Seven of Swords here, which is kind of a warrior card. So, or no, sorry, Seven of Swords is kind of a paranoia card. So that one is harder for me to interpret with the original meaning, but I guess you could say that he's stealing away this woman, perhaps. So some of the cards are a little bit more of a stretch. I think it'd be wise if you're just learning the cards, this might be a hard deck to start with because the traditional meanings of the cards are kind of subtly in here. Not totally obvious with everyone. But for someone who's read a long time and you like to expand on your meanings of the cards, I think this is a fun deck to go with, especially if you're just attracted to these type of images like I am. This is a deck that I wanted for years and I never bought it, and it didn't have the gold flair to it, the shine, but I wanted the Fantastic Menagerie deck for years, and I didn't get it, and then I looked and it was sold out, and it was, up to $400 or so for a first edition print, so I was like, oh well, so much for that. And then someone at the Tarot Symposium said, oh, that's on sale right now for a second edition. And I'm actually quite happy with that because I really like the shine of these cards. It just adds another beauty to them. It's kind of funny because Seven of Coins is about, I'm not completed with a project yet, and he's licking the food before it's completed. That's great. And here we're coming to the end of this deck, and with it we have a final card that was a gift from them. They added in this one, which is not gold, so you can see the difference. Not shiny, cold press. And they have a nice little note in here. So Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to my page if you're interested in tarot or if you'd like to get free readings on occasion. And yeah, you can order yourself a Fantastic Menagerie if you enjoyed that flip through and like the cards. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day.